Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Biller, the co-organizer of the Boston FinTech Meetup. And just on behalf of ourselves at the Meetup group, as well as our very strong partnership with the MassChallenge FinTech Lab team, we're very excited to welcome you today to the first in a series of 4 lunchtime events. This week, we hope you're eating your lunch with us every day on how we're looking at the entrepreneurial community to help banks build a better tomorrow. We're terribly excited to bring to you today 3 fantastic startups who are going to share with you their work and how they're influencing that positive change that we know today's pandemic has created for us. We're in this moment of catalytic change, and we hope that you'll enjoy the demos and that you'll also plan to ask lots of questions. We're going to take questions in the chat room, and at the end of the demo sessions, the entrepreneurs are going to join me here, and we're going to ask them your questions. And so we'll have some dialogue in that way. But in between, I really want to welcome Devin Sherman to the stage now, or I guess the virtual meetup, and share her perspective, and then we'll get started. So thanks again, everyone.
Thanks so much, Sarah, and thanks everyone for joining us today. As Sarah mentioned, you're about to hear from 3 really incredible startups who are tackling onboarding. And so first up, we're going to have Digital Onboarding, who is a 2019 MCFT alum. And we'll also hear from SortSpoke and Automation Hero, who are both in our current 2020 MCFT program. And as quick background, all of these startups have worked intensively with our MassChallenge FinTech partners in the banking sector, and in some cases also our partners in asset management and insurance. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Ted to kick us off.
Hi, this is Ted Brown. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Digital Onboarding. I'm very excited to share how we work with financial institutions to improve their business. On the highest level, we focus on helping banks and credit unions grow engagement with their customers and members in a one-to-one fashion at scale. It's a very broad platform that can address the many needs of an institution, but we tend to focus on certain use cases that lead to greater success, whether that's measured by profitability or impact, or wherever it's measured by the business. The platform itself is based off a series of personalized step-by-step guides that are created for new customers, new members. Anytime a product is open, it starts walking them through step-by-step all of the benefits available, how they can get the most out of the relationship. It continues to remind them. You could think about the old-fashioned way when this used to happen with welcome kits, brochures, mailers. Doing it all digitally makes a lot of sense in a digital environment or promoting digital services. And it also makes it easier to track, test, and optimize the entire experience. So as I mentioned, it's a very broad platform that can address many needs, but we tend to focus on some particular use cases. Account activation off checking accounts, a universal product, cross-selling, M&A transactions, education, and ad hoc campaigns as well. So for example, in that account activation, the checking account still very much considered the household relationship account. But when someone opens it, you have to make sure that they follow through, set up direct deposits, get into online banking, mobile banking, all those other services that make a true, robust banking relationship. Once someone has established that relationship, all the other services that are available are really important to educate about. So if it's a mortgage, if you see that your members are applying for mortgages elsewhere, not knowing that at their current credit union they can get great rates, it's a great opportunity to engage and deepen that relationship. With M&A transactions, there's a lot of consolidation in our industry, banks buying other banks, and each time that happens, there's a transition for all the customers of that bank to find out the new services, digital services of their new institution. Key dates, what they need to do, how to use the new services, another very common use case to reduce that friction for the customer or the member. And education. As financial institutions, we're always looking to serve that membership. How can they save better? Steps, guides, things that they can know that the institution can help with. Very common outreach for an engagement platform like this. And then last but certainly not least, and very topical at the moment, are ad hoc campaigns. So the pandemic COVID-19 crisis is a great example of this. Certified credit union in under 24 hours packaged together a campaign so that all members knew about branch closures, what they could do, how they can access their money digitally. And they saw great success in rapidly producing that, getting the word out, and having impact. We've seen great success with the performance so far. So ongoing campaigns, things that happen all the time, like opening up checking accounts, opening up auto loans. We see great results on the KPIs that are followed for that, whether it be cross-sell from an auto loan to a checking account, adoption of digital services like online banking, e-statements, debit card transactions off of a checking account, or cross-selling things like credit cards in a new digital format as opposed to the old-fashioned print mailers, the postcards that send out. And then on those ad hoc campaigns, just the simple ability to produce something, get it out in under 24 hours, really react to what you don't know what's going to come up, things like the pandemic. Certified Federal Credit Union put that together, and they saw a lift, a 15% increase in mobile app downloads. People who realized, I can still access my cash, I can still access my banking services, even though the branches are closed during this time of crisis. So with that background, I'm going to launch and show you a quick demo of what this experience can look like. So I'll choose a very common use case, the checking activation use case. You can picture an instant email, an instant text going out to that new customer or that new member, welcoming them to the institution, saying, how can we help? Tap on this guide for a step-by-step walkthrough of all the benefits associated with the checking account you just opened. So clicking that from the phone is going to bring you to an optimized user experience. Swipe left and right, read about all the benefits. Clicking that button from the desktop is going to lead you similarly to a step-by-step guide. And this is very flexible in terms of how it looks. But you can see in this example, we've lined up some of the common service products associated with a checking account that you typically would need to be reminded to utilize. So digital banking, using the debit card once it comes in the mail, talking to your employer to get your paycheck deposited on that new account, and then sharing some quick feedback. Some design elements of this particular template, you see in the upper right, a progress bar. Every time one of those actions is completed, the bar advances towards 100%, or cash bonus, whatever you're running as a promotion. On the bottom, persistent throughout this experience is access to help. Click to call, click to email, click to book a meeting. It's such a critical time in the relationship. You want to make sure someone's there at their fingertips to help this new customer member if they have trouble along the way. And it's entirely personalized. It says, hi, John, I'm having a conversation. They know who I am. A great experience. So walking through this quick example, digital banking, you might outline all of the benefits, the services. It's commonplace for many of us, but there's still 25% of the population who consider digital banking scary, confusing, and it's really important to educate them about the ease of use. And getting into mobile banking, making it as simple as possible to access that mobile app. From the desktop, you can type in your mobile number, click send me the link. This will fire off a text with a short link in it. You just tap the link in the text and it downloads the right app for your phone. If I had advanced to this site on the phone already, that just quickly changes to an install button. You can easily tap the button. It downloads the right app for your iPhone or your Android device. Next step in our example is the debit card. If it's open online, it might arrive in the mail. If it's open in the branch, maybe it's instantly issued. But we want to remind them of those steps, either activating the card, here are the ways that you can do it, here's a map of the closest ATMs to your house. And then once it's activated, we need to get you to utilize it. So here you can see embedded as a step-by-step walkthrough that makes it easy for the person to move all of their subscriptions from a previous card, like their Netflix subscription, their Amazon payment information, over to that new debit card in this easy to use step-by-step walkthrough. Next in this example is direct deposits. Really critical. If someone's not depositing their paycheck in the checking account, they're probably banking with somebody else. And it's one of those steps you can't really do in the branch. Falls to the bottom of your priority list as soon as you open the account. Picture a text, an email, or the next day, sometime around noon. That's probably when you're at work. It's probably when we need to remind you to set this up. So you have to fill out certain information in your form, but it's not always memorized. So things like routing numbers, account address, all can be displayed here. But then when it comes to sensitive information like the checking account, we don't want to just publish that to the world, but we want to make it really easy for the user to find. So you can see here, click to reveal button. You just click it. It'll enter a lightly authenticated session. Once we've verified that user via a temporary token sent via text or email, we'll be able to reveal that information and give easy access to the information that's needed in a secure fashion. Last step here, just collecting a little bit of feedback. How are we doing? What are the products and services that would also interest you? Let us know your thoughts. Any multiple choice, free-form questions, easy to collect. And the user's done. They're 100% complete for the product that they asked for, that checking account. We'd consider it fully utilized. We may send the user on a new series of steps to deepen that relationship, but we've achieved activation for that initial product. Now I want to switch and show you how easy it was to build something like that, because ease of use is really critical when it comes to systems like this, and flexibility to iterate quickly. So what I have on the screen now is the backend admin portal. It's a very easy to use WYSIWYG editor. You start with pre-built content for a lot of the common objectives that a financial institution would have, like checking activation. But from there, you can tweak, tailor it however you'd like. Point, shoot, change the copy, common controls for fonts, formatting. And you also have a series of widgets that you can drop anywhere on these pages as you add or subtract pages. We saw some of those widgets in action in the demo. First was a personalization widget. You can drop it on the page, and then any data that's passed into this platform through the API can be used as a personalization, have a conversation, reveal sensitive information in a secure fashion that needs to be available at the fingertip to complete certain actions. Next widget we saw in action was the simple call to action button. Drop it on the page, deep link into digital banking, somewhere else, click save, good to go. See how easy it was to have that mobile experience. Drop the widget in, paste the link to Android, iOS, click save, and you're good to go. With the debit card, you saw an easily embedded page. The way you do that, you embed any web asset, a third-party asset, a third-party plugin, paste the link, and it's neatly knitted together for that customer in an easy-to-find user experience. Next was a private personalization widget. Anything that's labeled as private data automatically gets that filter, so it's not exposed. And then finally, the survey is just as easy as configuring, picking multiple choice questions. Any feedback you'd like, click done, and you're good to go. There are a number of other widgets that are easily publishable, and they're designed to facilitate certain actions. The last part about the system that's really great is analytics and optimization. Each of these pages are assigned a common objective. Like, what's the point of all this content, all of these reminders, all of these messages? So by labeling the objective, mobile app downloads, digital banking adoption, the system knows if we're achieving those goals or not. It can provide detailed insights, analytics, the flashlight into what's happening here. Am I successfully achieving these goals? Where are the gaps? Who is opening a certain section but not completing the action? What of the reminder messages that go out? What's bouncing? What's being opened up? Once you have that insight, it becomes very easy to test and optimize in an automated fashion, continually recommending different variables to isolate and test, and with a click of a button, continuously making progress against these goals that you've assigned to the campaign. So that's a quick run through of the system, a lot of the common use cases. Again, I am Ted Brown, the co-founder and CEO of Digital Onboarding. I'm really excited to talk to you if you see a fit here. A lot of our customers have expressed a lot of gratefulness that this platform was here in the time of the crisis, because without it, they wouldn't have an easy way to create a campaign, launch it out, get the word out. So there are many, many use cases. We'd love to chat. Please reach out at my personal email, ted@digitalonboarding.com, or give me a call, 732-996-8394. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jasper Lee, the founder of SortSpoke. SortSpoke helps financial institutions anywhere you have people that have to read complex, unstructured documents, extract specific data out of those in order to actually transact some business. This is the problem that we solve. So you're intaking a bunch of complex financial documents from your customers or from your partners. You have literally tens, hundreds of people sitting there reading those documents, looking for very specific data, which may not be in a consistent location or using specific language. And then they have to extract that data to actually use it to, say, underwrite a loan or an insurance policy, or decide, whether to make a particular investment decision. And this is a really hard, laborious problem to solve. SortSpoke solves this problem. It's a tool that you give to the people that are doing the work anyways, but the key thing about SortSpoke is it's not this really difficult to implement AI tool. It's really meant to be easy enough that a business can self-serve, implement it in just hours. It's not something that requires lots of IT involvement, lots of consultants to get up and running. And it's no exaggeration, our customers get this up and running in a day. Just want to give you a quick demo of what SortSpoke looks like. This is the interface. It's very intentionally very simple. It just shows you a document that needs to be reviewed. And actually, this is completely from scratch. We're showing you actually setting up a completely new document that the system has never seen before. SortSpoke's unique IP from a technology standpoint is that we can learn any document in any language, in any use case, in about a day. We don't rely on any pre-trained models or anything like that. So you can see here we're doing an office lease, but anything that sort of looks like a legal agreement we can do. After you do about 5 or 10 different documents, just clicking on the values, the system will learn from that and say, okay, I think I know what it is. Can you just do a quick QA for me? We don't just do legal type agreements. We also do things like this, which could be a loan or a derivative, a banking type document, financial prospectus. We could also do things such as this, like an application form, where, say, every broker that submits an application form, it all says the same information, but they all look totally different. And we can handle that seamlessly for you. And we can do things as varied as medical records, say for life APS underwriting, things like that. And a key part of our interface that you can see here is that we still ask the user to do a final check. We just supply them the answers so that they can hit one button to do the final QA. Real world, what we see is probably a 4 to 10x increase in productivity. And that's what we're aiming for, is just to make those people far more productive in their jobs. So just to recap, like, how does SortSpoke fit in? It's really meant to drop into your existing process. So at that one step where you're intaking documents from the outside world, you have a team that has to review them. SortSpoke makes that team more productive and then passes the data to the existing downstream systems that you have. It doesn't replace any of the existing systems that you have. SortSpoke really is one tool that can handle all of the different complex unstructured documents in your enterprise. It's not this tool that's only pre-trained to do 1 or 2 different types of documents. And that's one key reason why large enterprises like to adopt SortSpoke. So finally, just to recap, SortSpoke, super simple, super easy to use. It really is business self-serve. We're up and running in about a day. Any data from any document in any language, even if we've never seen it before. And we've designed it from the ground up to be human in the loop, because we know for financial services operations, you need 100% data quality and compliance. Thanks.
Hi everyone, Mike from Automation Hero. Really excited to be here today. Really appreciate MassChallenge for putting this on. Today we're going to go through a demo of the Automation Hero platform and specifically talk around some banking use cases, and in light of COVID and recent events, a couple use cases around the Paycheck Protection Program that we've actually implemented for some of our banking clients. So who are we? Automation Hero is an intelligent process automation platform utilizing both artificial intelligence and machine learning to automate complex business processes. So what is intelligent process automation? Many of you may be familiar with the term robotic process automation, or RPA. RPA is a legacy technology that's been around for about 20 years at this point. It is very good at automating manual repetitive tasks. You'd think of RPA sort of as a welding robot, where it's very rules-based and what you put in is what you get out. Intelligence process automation includes RPA, but also includes cognitive techniques such as AI and data manipulation that allows you to create more complex business processes and to integrate the human worker, allowing them to be more productive and efficient in their day-to-day business. So what's this mean from a use case perspective? In banking, we have three major buckets we work with our customers on. The first is really the elimination of repetitive tasks. So any manual data entry, rekeying of data, sort of swivel chair tasks that your processors or potentially your retail bankers have to do on a day-to-day basis, we automate those, including extracting data from unstructured data sources. This includes handwritten documents, PDFs, or even invoices. So the second major category we focus on is the automation of common customer requests. This is utilizing AI techniques such as intent detection or dark data extraction to actually detect the intent of emails, pull out the appropriate information utilizing natural language processing, and even automate intelligent customized responses back to the client. The third use case is really the augmentation of knowledge worker decision making. This is where we use prediction and reinforcement learning techniques to do things such as optimize portfolio allocation, better understand and forecast the potential for mortgages and loans to come into an organization, create and enable dynamic pricing, and also prevent customer churn. Now let's take a look at the product. Hero Flow is the platform where you can develop and build out your complex business processes. Under the hood is our intelligence fabric, which is an extremely fast, scalable, and elastic infrastructure for building your processes and automations. At the core of this is four major pillars. First is our connection. So we integrate with many different data sources, including different file formats, databases, data lakes, big data systems, etc. The second key pillar is systems. So whether it be Salesforce, Workday, or any other enterprise cloud-based application, we can connect and integrate it as part of the process. The third area that we really focus on is our data and process integration. So you have a lot of different functions and functionality to create complex processes, but you can also integrate RPA or your existing business process management systems into our flows as well. And the fourth area, which we will touch on during the presentation, but is our Robin interface. So it's our way of bringing the human back into the loop for things such as exception handling, or utilizing them on top of the AI models to get superior accurate results. So now I want to jump into a use case, a recent retail bank customer of ours that needed assistance with their application process and loan application process, especially with the influx of PPP loans. What we did was we implemented an AI model that actually looked at the loan packages that were coming into the organization, and whether those documents were handwritten, PDFs, or potentially coming in through their claimant portal. It structured that data into their loan origination system so they could quickly move from application to submittal. The second piece that we implemented for the customer, which actually was very helpful and certainly will be going forward, especially if you look towards the forgiveness process of the program, is automating the communication back to the customer or the client. Specifically, if they submitted a document package that was missing information or missing actual documents themselves, we automated communication, email communication back, asking them for that document so they could respond accordingly. So for the demo today, we're going to focus specifically on building a workflow for extracting data from these handwritten documents. As you can see on the screen, we have a sample document from the Paycheck Protection Program. Fake data, obviously, but Jitter's Coffee Shop is applying for a PPP loan. What you see on the right is actually our interface for interacting with the document after the AI model extracts the data. So the interface is called Robin, and it's a really simple interface for a processor to go in and understand the data after it's hit the AI model. So the processor can check for accuracy and make sure no data is missing before it goes into the loan origination system. So you can see in the Robin interface on the right that the AI model has actually worked and has pulled data from the PPP application program and has formatted it into a structured format. So it's pulled the first name, it's pulled the last name, it's actually split that up from the document itself. It's pulled a social security number, it's rearranged the date of birth to fit a better format, and it's actually pulled the checkboxes on the questions below. So now let's jump into a demo of the solution and see how one of these workflows is built. So this is our Hero Flow interface where you can point and click together a business workflow. So we're gonna go into the flow. So every flow is created with a series of inputs, outputs, and then the functions in between. So you can see in this flow, it's the data and the files are actually coming from a file system. We're doing a little bit of data cleanup, and then the documents are actually hitting our OCR model to extract that data and pushing that to the Robin application. So let's run this flow and we'll go see what it looks like in the Robin interface. So now that we've run the flow, you can actually see the various flows that are running in the system and processing. Right now, the output COVID form is running its process. The documents are going through, being read by the OCR model. As you can see as well, you can run and orchestrate multiple automations from this platform. So let's go into Robin. So you can imagine yourself as a loan processor here. You actually have a task list as you go in. Maybe you got a loan origination package from your LO, a small business, and you can see from the scanned documents all of the different information that's been pulled out. So maybe you have to go in and quickly change, update the name that hasn't come through with the AI model, do some quick corrections. One of the biggest pieces of this solution is not to get 100% accuracy, especially when you're dealing with handwritten docs. It's about making the processor and the processing time for these loan applications 4 to 5 times more efficient. The second major benefit is once the processor hits submit, it not only pushes data to the loan origination system, it actually feeds that back into the AI model to retrain the model to get better and more accurate results. So with that, I did want to leave the last couple minutes to answer and field any questions anyone on the line may have. Really appreciate the time and more than happy to schedule some time offline as well to talk through your various business use cases.
Hi, everybody. Well, those were just amazing demos. Everyone, thank you so much. Mike, Ted, Jasper, we appreciate that you prepared them for us. And I will say we had a series of questions coming in. I'm hopeful that we'll have a chance to see you come online. I'm looking for you now and help guide us through some of these questions that we saw. Hey, Ted, nice to see you. Mike, you're coming off of mute. And let's see, where's Jasper? Hey, Jasper. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Boston FinTech and the MassChallenge FinTech Lab lunchtime demo. We so appreciated each of you. And I appreciate the fact I've been watching the questions come in, and Ted, you've been active as well in the chat room. Thank you. I thought we might actually kind of unpack some of those questions together and not rotely, but ones that I think become critically important in today's age. We certainly were already moving towards the need to really create online account openings, these solutions that digitize complex documents and add efficiency. And I think one of the questions that we were hearing from the, by the way, 130 people who are online, was around the efficiency in which each of your applications can be stood up. You know, how quickly, Ted, in your case, could a bank or a credit union use digital onboarding? Mike, Jasper, for your own applications as well. I hope you'll take a minute to help share with us how easy is it to get started with you. So Ted, I'll go ahead and hit you up, and then we'll go to Mike and Jasper for their responses.
Sure, thanks, Sarah. It's relatively easy. We have a lot of pre-built campaigns where the content's already there. You just tweak the branding, you change the the actual copy itself so it matches what you want to say. I will say that the fastest someone's actually gotten launched something after signing was about 3 weeks. It could be done faster, but that's generally the process is usually marketing, reviewing copy, compliance, saying yes, we can say these things to our customers and members. It's not a very large technical lift to just get up and start going. Once you get a feel for it, then customers, our banks and credit unions, they can launch a campaign in 24 hours, like I cited with the COVID campaign. So it's relatively a light lift and an easy tool to use.
Great, Ted, thank you. Mike, what about Automation Hero?
Yeah, I appreciate it, Sarah. Unlike, I would say, Ted and Jasper, where their solutions certainly have a lot more point and click early to get into implementation. Defining a business workflow is obviously a process. What we do have is we have over 60 pre-built connectors to various systems. So your Salesforces, different loan origination systems. So very easy to actually connect to those via API and start building out your business process. As far as what I showed in the demo, which was the handwritten AI model, which actually extracted handwritten data, that is an AI model. And to build that includes some sort of data science work, includes a lot of training data. But the best part about it is once you get that up and running, it can really deal with complex business use cases and really customize documents that typical OCR solutions just have never really been structured to handle before. I would say, kind of going off Ted's, how quick do we get into implementation? The quickest we have, certainly if your use case doesn't include AI, 2 to 3 weeks. If it does, to get into full production, you're looking to a 45 to 90 day cycle to roll something out.
Super. In the legacy of banking, that's like a blink of the eye. So
yeah, it's and we have a full professional service team that's always on hand to stand up projects as fast as the customer can pull together their team as well.
Yeah, Mike, thanks. Hey, Jasper, if you'll answer it also in the context of how quickly can we implement, but you also had a question about, is your platform on-prem or is it a SaaS-based model? So if you would also address that as you answer.
Sure. Well, maybe I'll cover that one off quickly in the beginning, just so I don't forget. It is, for most of our customers, a cloud-based SaaS offering. But actually, for some of our larger customers or ones with particularly stringent regulatory compliance regimens, we also support hosting it within their private cloud. So both options are available for our customers. To go back to the sort of the theme of this question around how easy is it to set up, SourceBook's actually unique difference is that it's incredibly easy to set up. So we've been used for everything from like literally an ad hoc project that would have taken a project team 2 weeks of manual work. They were done the entire project in 1 day, not an exaggeration. So we take a fundamentally different approach to AI. It's no data scientists, no consultants, just have the team use it. By the time you can process about 20 documents, that's how quickly the system is up and running. For true production operations, about the only integration you'll need, because we don't replace existing systems, we just integrate with them, is we would give you a data feed, your IT would need to send that data feed to your existing legacy system. For most of our customers, that's sort of a 1 or 2 week process.
Yeah, thank you, Jasper. You each mentioned in different constructs this idea of learning and education. Ted, I think digital onboarding has a component of education for the customer, the bank customer, and the credit union. And I hope you'll share with us how important that is to your work. And then Mike and Jasper, I think I'm going to shift that question, if you all will think about it. how consistently do your systems learn? And both of you are applying AI and ML. And so I hope you'll also kind of help us dive into this broad idea that we are now in an environment of banking that is about education and learning, both to the individual and then to the systems. So Ted, I hope that wasn't too complex of a question to get into the really impressive work you've done to educate people. But do you mind sharing your thesis there?
Sure, there might have been a few of the questions in there, but I'll try to knock out a couple of them. Yeah, in terms of engagement and education of a customer base, a membership base, in normal times, that's happening all the, campaigns like that are going out to the membership all the time. So whether it's, targeting a certain segment of the customer or member base that has low balances, under $1,000 of combined balances, trying to educate those users about tools that will help them save, increase their balances, above $1,000. Those are type of normal campaigns. Educating around this crisis, we found ourselves in a position where the credit unions and banks we serve found themselves in the positions where all the branches were closed. The demographic that was most at risk of the virus was generally the older population, who also was the least educated on digital services, what they were, how to use them, how to access their banking relationship without a branch. So that, of course, is a really important education component that became very relevant. Then in terms of the system learning, AI, machine learning, of course, we're using that as well as everybody else. Because we've built this platform exclusively for financial institutions, many of those institutions have very similar objectives, like getting more people to adopt direct deposits, getting more people to download the mobile app, all doing things slightly differently. So systematically, we can measure results over at institution A and see what they're doing, and then systematically through the platform recommend certain tests that can then be run with a click of a button and automatically by the system user. So a couple different parts, I believe, of that question, but all really, really exciting things that we're working on.
Yeah, Ted, very cool. Mike, just to specifically come to you, this question around learning was from an anonymous attendee. I generally call out their name, but I don't know it. But they do ask, how does your program keep learning from data extracted from the documents? And does your accuracy improve as you extract and learn more?
Yeah, no, and I saw the question and definitely appreciate the question. So one thing I didn't touch on in the demonstration is, as part of our solution, sort of as our workbench to creating complex automation, we have within our software, it's called AI Studio, and it allows you to build with point and click actual AI models. So any model that's going to be created and put into a workflow can be created in AI Studio. And with that, you have the ability to retrain models. You have the ability to compare via analytics the different accuracy results you're getting from those models. And then, as I showed in the demonstration quickly, which you really couldn't see in sort of a long-term perspective, but as first maybe users are interacting with our Robin interface, all of that's being refed into the models to increase accuracy over time. Or if we're doing a different use case that might have to do with actually adjudicating a claim or making a decision down the line, the accuracy of those decisions and the machine learning and reinforcement that comes from our workflow will be fed back into that AI model. So a lot of different ways you can tweak it, but if there's interest, the demo was definitely high level today, and there's a lot under the hood.
Wonderful. And I think you had your contact information in the deck.
Yeah, I believe Elise is being shared via MassChallenge out at the end of this.
Yeah, my sense too. Wonderful. So everybody can follow up. And Jasper, you're really in a complex environment too, and using AI and ML. How about your system and that broader idea around it, learning? How would you respond to that question?
Yeah, so a couple aspects of that I'd like to touch on. I guess the first one is our SourceBook's entire differentiation actually is to take away, the preconceived notion that AI requires a lot of training data. So SourceBook specifically doesn't. So actually for a lot of our customers, they'll encounter situations in the real world where, say, they'll be onboarding a new broker they've never worked with before. Normally with a traditional tool, even an AI tool, you have to bring back a vendor or consultant to set up that new broker. In our case, you literally do nothing. You just keep processing. The staff that are doing the work will just keep tagging the document. And within, after you've seen maybe 5 or 10 examples from that broker, it'll know how to deal with it. So that's our entire philosophy, is that it continuously learns. No exaggeration, like you'll see 5, say applications from that broker and you'll be up and running. It also includes things like, I think something people don't realize when they think about sort of the TCO or total cost of ownership of implementing AI is you can spend 3 or 4 months and lots of time creating training data for a particular use case, and then you'll find out 2 or 3 quarters later, oh, you know what? Actually, we wanted to add 3 more fields because it was actually important for compliance, or underwriting actually thinks they can do a lot better, modeling if they had these 3 additional fields pulled out. I think with most traditional approaches to this, you'd have to basically reset the whole process over again. In our case, our customers will literally just say, I want to pull out these 3 fields, and then 20 documents later, they have those 3 fields moving forward. So it's a different way of thinking about it, and it's worth challenging your AI projects when you think about dealing with continuous change.
Yeah, Jasper, I love that answer. And I'm going to stick with you for a minute because there is a question from Ross, who's on the line. He's asking, what's that one factor that differentiates your offering from more established or larger players in the unstructured data extraction space? Did I get that question right? Let me ask it again. What differentiates your offerings from other more established players in the unstructured data extraction space? And then do you mind kind of addressing that question? What would you point out?
Yeah, so for us, it was, we can learn any document, any data model that you want to extract from it in like 20 documents, and that it's really business self-serve. It's not a tool for data scientists and consultants. It's business self-serve.
Love that. Yeah. Mike, what about you?
Yeah, so the biggest differentiator we have is the complexity of the document. So a lot of times, especially when we look at the other OCR solutions in the market, or the point and click together from the AI side, the major areas or gaps that we see is the handwritten documents and the ability to extract that data at an accuracy level that really works in real time and real customer use cases. So if you have custom documents, if they are very unstructured, if you're looking for certain areas to pull out that might not always be in the top right corner of the document every time it comes through, those are areas that we definitely differentiate with our ability to build a customized AI model around. And then you have the downstream functions of not only having that as a single solution that then you have to connect to various other products to build a workflow. But you have the other tools downstream to put it actually into production, connect to your various systems, make decisions, via other AI models downstream as well. So.
Very cool. Thank you. And Ted, you may say that AI, your use of AI and machine learning is what differentiates you in your work to digitally onboard people more seamlessly. But what is that one factor that sets you apart?
It's powered by AI and machine learning, but really it's the factor of ease of consistently testing and optimizing the variables that work within an outreach campaign. We see it all the time that even if someone is doing something with digital outreach, email automation, what have you, they're not using any A/B testing. They're not using any of the functionality that may exist in order to test and optimize what's going on. So that's one of the big differences. The big problem we're trying to solve within the industry is, as opposed to having to have a full-time marketer on every single campaign, identifying variables, testing content, testing incentive offers, to have that done systematically by the platform, because that's the only way that it's going to get done, and that's the only way to solve these really important challenges.
Yeah, I have to say I've appreciated each of your answers so discreetly, because it thinks you're thinking about the customer and the future, and what a powerful place each of you have brought us to. I want to personally say thank you. I know there are a lot of other questions just streaming in, and there will be an opportunity on the other side. MassChallenge will facilitate additional questions to each of you or interests, but in that spirit of just thanking you so profusely for your lunchtime views. How are we going to navigate a complex future? I feel a lot better today, having talked to you all. I'm going to turn it over to Devin just to say thank you and goodbye, but I wish you could see everyone applauding you, but I'll do it. So thanks, guys. See you soon.
Thanks,
Devin.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
I'll come on, and Devin is having some technical difficulties, but Luke Lennon from MassChallenge FinTech. Sarah, thank you so much as always. And thank you to the startups for presenting today. Tune in again tomorrow at the same time. We will have 4 other startups from the MassChallenge FinTech community: Boss Insights, Lending Front, Stratify, and Fincura. So super excited. Thank you again, and see you tomorrow.